We're back. I'm Julie Golob with the second video, live stream video of our Trijicon event here. We talked about the Ascent, and now we're going to be introducing the new Credo line. Check out this video. Ryan Wood, Senior Product Manager from Trijicon, is back with us, and we have our first special guest of the day, Tom Beckstrand of Guns & Ammo Magazine, the Rifle and Optics Editor.
That's correct, and it means so much to me that you call me a special guest.
Oh, you are very special.
I always wanted to be a special guest.
Well, welcome here. Are you excited about this?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I'll tell you, you take a step back and you look at this new Credo line, and I mean, doggone, that's a lot of options. I mean, 23 different options, I think, at last count.
Yeah,
so
23 different SKUs.
Huge range of new optics coming from Trijicon.
9 different models. It's a huge range, but at its very core, it's, we've taken everything we've learned from decades of deployment and we've put that into a family of rifle scopes. And so for the Credo family, it's really designed for the tactical shooter and the competitive shooter. And then regardless of the variation that we see or the price point or first or second focal plane or the adjuster style, the reticle option, it's all around those applications.
Right, and of course, if you're the guy at home that just likes to go to the range and ding steel and have a really good time, I think this is a great set of features for that guy as well.
Yeah.
Everything, the entire family has the illuminated reticle, so LED illuminated, powered by a CR2032 battery, and so you have a choice of red or green, 10 illumination settings with an off between each, except for this 1:8x28, the brand new enhanced 1:8x28 in the Credo family has both red and green in a single scope. Right,
and that's one of those things, sometimes people look at, well, do I want red, do I want green? It's like, what color shoes do I, or what color shirt do I want to wear? There's an application, and there's times where you'll want red, and there's times where you'll want green. Me personally, where I really like to see red is if I've got a dark target, dark background, dark crosshair, just bump up the red enough just to give you some contrast to where you can actually see exactly where you're aiming. And then if I'm dealing with brighter sunlight, then it's nice to slip over to green because it just seems to pop a little bit more and your eye picks it up better.
Yeah.
You mentioned it's a CR123, so these are all etched reticles, right?
Etched reticles, yep. Glass etched reticles, LED illumination, so you've got really any light shooting.
And I'll tell you, as I'm looking at this model in particular, one of the things that stands out to me is the exposed elevation turret.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times, a lot of optics coming out, you'll see capped turrets because they're simple, and you go and you zero your scope, and that's about it. And if you zero at 100 and you need to shoot at 3 or 4, well, you just hold over a little bit. But this one gives you the option to unlock, dial your hold, and then lock it. Which is just super nice.
And available both in the elevation and in windage. Now, the family is so big, we do have capped adjuster models, especially in the low power variables, the 1 to 4, and a new magnification range for us, a 1 to 6x24 in this family. Those have capped adjusters. Not here on screen, it was in the video. There are several models that have the exposed elevation adjuster with 0 stop, which is pretty awesome because basically eyes free, you can dial down, return to 0 without looking.
Right, and it's always nice because sometimes, depending on how much you're spinning that turret, you can get off one revolution.
Yeah, was that 1 revolution or 2 revolutions? Yeah.
And I think that's happened to just about all of us. If you do a fair bit of precision shooting, man, if it doesn't have a 0 stop on there, it's like, where's my 0? I don't know. where it's at, and then all your friends laugh at you when you send one. And
Well, we don't want that happening.
No, we can't be having that.
Yeah.
Not at all. If you do have any questions specifically for Tom or Ryan, please make sure to comment in the comment section below. We're also giving away one of these optics to a lucky winner. Again, all you got to do is comment, tag a friend. It's an easy entry, and you could win. Who doesn't want to win?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants a free scope.
Right, especially one of these.
Right, and then the other thing I noticed about this line is you've got, boatloads of new reticles.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to reticles, once again, there's a lot of preferences there, and I feel like you've done a really good job of covering down on, the most common preferences that people would want. You've got mil-based reticles, you've got minute-based reticles, you've got, traditional crosshairs that sub-tend. I think on average, most of your crosshairs sub-tend every half mil or every minute. And then but you've also got the Christmas tree reticles, right? That folks love to use for holdovers because it's nice not to have to float.
For the wind holds, absolutely. And I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the durability. We talk about the science of brilliant and the testing methodology, the design philosophy that goes into the Credo family. As a company, our DNA, corporate DNA, is really in building combat rifle scopes. We've carried that over, that same approach, into the sporting rifle scope family, and so we call that the science of brilliant. But we basically it's so that these scopes are designed to perform in the real world. We know that in the real world, things happen. Right.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. My first trip overseas to Afghanistan, I had a Trijicon ACOG on my rifle, and what I learned early on is, that's a contact sport. I mean, you fall down, you run into people. It's just all the unexpected things happen, and I'll tell you that optic took a beating. And one of the things that always impressed me about it is that it never failed. It never had any issues. And so knowing that you're taking all of that tribal knowledge you've learned for, 30 years of building ACOGs and putting that into every scope that you make, to me as a potential consumer, that's comforting.
Yeah. And so we test every single model so that.
And that's a big deal, right? Because, sure, but, I've spent $150 on this scope and it works just fine, and it's going to work just fine.
Just fine until
it doesn't. And so, when it comes to durability testing, if you have an accident with a scope, chances are it's either going to be rifles on a bipod, buddy bumps it, it falls over. Lean your rifle against a tree, it falls over. And now, I got to go confirm my zero.
Yeah.
And the number one cause of a point of impact shift in either one of those scenarios is one of the lenses, usually the objective, because it's the biggest and heaviest, moves 1/1000th of an inch, and now you've got an inch or two point of impact shift off at 100 yards. And so, you guys, when you durability test, you drop test it, we make sure that there's no movement of those lenses.
Yeah, we drop test. We do a temperature shock test from -20 to 140 degrees, well beyond what most people are going to experience, or their scopes. But we want to make sure we do the solid zero test. We shoot 5,000 consecutive rounds of a heavy cartridge. We check it at 1, 3, and 5,000 rounds to confirm the zero has hold.
Right, and that's one of those things, like. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, money's a limited resource, and there's times in my life where I'll be like, $150 is about what I got, and you get what you get.
Yeah.
But if you can save your money and know that the product you're buying has been tested to those extremes, once again, it's nice to know that, well, if it falls over, it's no big deal because you guys have done far worse to it.
I mean, I was just a couple months ago, I was hunting in a very remote location with one of my favorite models in this whole new family is the 2-10 by 36. Right. And a buddy of mine, he had the 2-10 on his rifle. What happened? Of course, rifle gets dropped. And he was sure. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna have to check my zero. He did. He checked his zero, but
always check.
It held. It was just blown away by the fact that it was still good to go.
Yeah.
And you have so many options to choose from within the line, whether it's the 1 to 4 all the way up to more magnification.
1 to 4 all the way up to a 4 to 16 choice of first or second focal plane. All the reticle options Tom mentioned. And then we did little things like this repositionable magnification lever.
Right.
So really, you can put that at 11 o'clock or the 1 o'clock position. Accommodates really any shooting position or rifle configuration.
And the reason sometimes you want to move it is depending on where you're running it. If you run that bolt handle, you just want to keep this away from your knuckles.
Chassis gun, I mean, you can either move it or remove it completely.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I think we have some questions. This is your chance to put those questions in the comment section below if you hadn't, and also enter for a chance to win. DJ asks, does the Credo replace the AccuPower?
Yeah, so the short answer is yes and more. We are retiring the AccuPower family, and we've carried over those models, but we didn't just carry them over and call them Credo, we enhanced them. So we did, you know, like on this 1 to 8 by 28, there is an AccuPower 1 to 8 by 28. We've taken that and we've enhanced it with a repositional magnification lever, a more refined reticle, which is really great for high magnification at long range, dual illumination. So we made a lot of enhancements throughout the family, and that's carried over into the new Credo family.
Great. Casey asked, how do I choose the best Credo magnification for my need?
Well, that's going to depend on the range you're shooting, how much money you got, always how much money you've got,
right.
And then whether or not you're weight sensitive. And, you know, magnification determines really how far you're going to shoot. A lot of times, I'm a bit of a magnification hog, but I like to remember that back when I was going through sniper school and you qualified at 1,000 yards, it was with the 10 power scope. So you really don't need as much magnification as you think. Magnification range, you know, you got a 1 to 4, you got a 1 to 8. The 1 to 4 is going to be less expensive, right? So if money's a finite resource, if money's a little bit tight, just pay attention to those magnification ranges. And then the last one is weight. You know, if you got a 1 to 4, 1 to 8, I'm going to take the 1 to 8. But with that increased magnification range is usually going to come, you know, bigger main tube, more weight, and more expense.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll make a shameless plug for our new website.
Well, you make that plug.
Yeah, so you know, I got to do that, represent Trijicon. But, you know, beyond all the real reasons that you shared, another way someone could try to basically decipher or filter the many options, not just within Credo, but the other families like the Ascent that we introduced and the other ones that we're going to talk about a little bit later today, is go to our website, choose the platform, or so whether it's a bolt action or MSR, or choose the application that you're interested in, and it'll start filtering those down for you. And so you'll see the entire broad array, and then you can choose the reticle or the color or the tube size or the price that best fits your needs.
It's kind of like Trigicon's Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Kevin wants to know when the new scope will be available for purchase.
Yeah. So for folks lucky enough to be in Dallas this week at the Dallas Safari Club show, we have product on hand on the show floor, and so available for sale. And so that's really exciting for the many folks that are not here in Dallas. The good news is that these scopes are starting to they're hitting dealer shelves as we speak.
Fantastic.
So they're available for sale.
That's some good news. Alexander asked, how do you know if you win? That's a really great question. Everybody wants to know. It's very, very simple. Trijicon will contact you in private messaging. So make sure that you're paying attention to your messages because you won't want to miss out on that very important detail.
Yeah, that's a message you want to read.
Greg asked, how big is the segmented circle, the center dot and MOA drops?
Yeah. So it's a great question, and probably just because of the time that we have today, really not be able to go into too much detail about all the subtensions for each of the reticles. The good news is that info is going to be on our website. It's available, and so beyond what Tom shared earlier about the subtensions generally being about 1 MOA or half a milliradian for the reticles.
Great. And Scott asked about lockable turrets.
Yeah. So we do have a model with the lockable adjusters, the lockable turrets, and that's the 1 to 8 by 28, both locking in elevation and in windage. And then what we don't have shown today, but it was in the video, it'll be on our website, are other models with capped adjusters and the exposed elevation with zero stop.
Great. Dave asks, are the new Credo models brighter in regards to illumination?
I can feel that one.
Okay.
And this is a physics question. So if you've got any scope that's using a 2032 and an etched reticle that bathes, and all that means is they carve the reticle into the glass, put some reflective material in there, hit it with some light, and then some of that bounces back to the shooter's eye. These are all etched reticles powered by 2032, and across all manufacturers you'll see that illumination is about the same.
Yeah.
What this one picks up that most don't is that it's red and green. Green is going to be more easily visible. So is there a bump up in illumination? Yes, thanks to the green color.
Yeah.
Great. And then Josh wants to know how much he's going to have to pay for one of these
things. So we didn't organize this family around price or any of the families around price or even around technology. It's around application. It was like, what is the tactical shooter, the competitive shooter, what are they looking for, those features? And that's what's baked into every single one of these models. So there's a lot of variation, and so that's a long way of saying there's a price range from $799 up to $1799. And so just because there's a lot of variation, tube size, focal plane, etc.
Great. Wow. Any thoughts here on Credo before we head out? I know you've shot them a little bit, so.
Yeah, and had a heck of a time doing it. The big story here for me is the number of options that are available. You know, if you're looking for a quality product with 30 years of performance, you've now got options that you've never had before.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you both for joining us. We really appreciate it. Again, this is going to be a live stream event that's happening all day. You'll definitely want to check out our next video and see what we have to offer from Trijicon. You'll also want to check in at 4:30 p.m. for our brand new Breakthrough Technology video as well. So we'll see you soon.